Laura asked, would you recommend a specific subvertical for someone new to financial services?
My opinion on this is if you are in financial services and you like it, that's great. If you really think financial services is cool, like I do and like I did, I think it's great to focus there. One thing I would say is if you are learning Salesforce is a niche unto itself. And I sometimes like the idea of niching is really important. At the same time, sometimes I feel like people feel pressured to like niche further and further down, like they only do this thing. And I think particularly where Salesforce is right now and where the market is right now, like if you are somebody who has Salesforce skills and let's say can work, interpersonal skills to work with stakeholders and clients, like that in and itself is a fantastic niche. So, again, if you want to kind of focus on financial services, that's great. But it's not like, I know at times in my career, I've had this feeling of like pressure to like, am I niched down enough? And it's like, you don't need to if you don't want to. But with that said, to answer the specific question, do I have a recommendation on particular subverticals? I don't. I think it depends on you and what you're interested in and I mentioned the substance. I really liked asset management, the substance of it, like the technical parts of it. There's also a culture side of it as well. Asset management is a lot of times it's big firms, very buttoned up, and that some people love that, other people don't like that. So if that's something that you don't like, don't work in that industry, work in another industry because you'll have more fun doing it. Like retail banking in a small retail bank is totally different than working at a big asset management company. We have a client that's a kind of a regional retail bank, and they have like happy hour on Friday afternoon, and it's very informal, and you can see people like playing basketball in the background. That doesn't happen at the asset management firm. Neither one is right or wrong, but just know like the things that you like. If you're in a spot and it doesn't feel like a fit and it feels too buttoned up or not buttoned up enough or too hierarchical or not hierarchical enough, know there's other places out there and there's other communities out there that you can plug into. So that would be my non-answer answer.
It's a fascinating topic, the topic of niching, because obviously it's a vast ecosystem, and there's pros for getting very, very specific and trying to narrow down kind of the body of knowledge that you're responsible for. But then, it becomes a question of risk too. What happens if the ecosystem pivots in a different way? Can you now broaden back out and be a generalist? And so there's definitely considerations to think about. You can be very successful as a very, very niched Salesforce professional, but again, you can be an admin or like myself, a solution engineer, and have a broad understanding of the platform, be successful as well.
Yeah, and I think too, like, Dave, I think you're probably the same way. Not like we've talked a million times, but like I do this kind of work because I like it, and I've done it for a long time, and I plan to do it for a long time. So I don't want to say I look at it like a craft, but it's something like I enjoy doing it and I want to get better at it. So I'm looking for things where it's like, where do my interests in the market kind of fit together? And that's a guess a lot of times, right? Like you can guess that, I'll just pick an example. Like CPQ is a thing. I'm interested in it. It's probably going to be here in 5 years. That's a good area to go into, right? And you kind of make a guess. And if a year in you find nobody's, thing anymore, which definitely is not the case, it's the exact opposite. You kind of make an adjustment. But if you're learning and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's kind of part of the long-term mindset.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have to sit down with yourself and kind of figure out what your passions are and where your interest areas lie. For me, I tend to get bored if I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And so I like having a broader range of things to tackle in my role, because I can kind of sample from the full platform, and I'm getting radically different questions, radically different requests for demonstrations that span the full gamut of the product portfolio. So I'm never bored. I'm always learning. There's something out there for everyone in this ecosystem. You just have to figure out what best aligns with your passions and interests.
Yeah.